A Stanford graduate mom heard 5 words from her second-grade daughter that would change American education forever. "School is so boring, Mom." And now this model is spreading across America while 1.8 million teachers represented by unions have declared war, saying human educators can never be replaced. But what if I told you the real story behind these AI schools involves secret political funding, tech billionaires, and a plan that could create 2 completely different educational worlds, one for the rich, one for everyone else? Welcome back to AI Handbook channel, where I expose the revolutionary changes happening in artificial intelligence every single day. By the end of this video, you'll understand why this AI education revolution might be the most controversial transformation happening in America right now, and why it affects every parent, teacher, and student in ways most people don't even realize yet. Let me tell you about MacKenzie Price, Stanford psychology graduate, former mortgage industry executive, living the American dream in Austin, Texas. But in 2014, everything changed when her second-grade daughter came home and said those 5 devastating words. "School is so boring, Mom." And Price wasn't just another frustrated parent. She was a Stanford-educated problem solver who saw something broken in the system. Very early on, I started noticing frustration around the lack of ability for the traditional model to be able to personalize anything, she recalls. Traditional schools, she believed, were treating students like clones in a broken, outdated, mismanaged system. So she did what any determined parent would do. She started her own school. But what happened next would spark a nationwide controversy that's dividing educators, parents, and politicians today. Because MacKenzie Price didn't just create another private school. She created something that would challenge the very foundation of how we think about teaching and learning. But here's where the story gets really interesting. Price's solution was radical. What if kids could master all their core academics in just 2 hours a day using AI tutors? Welcome to the 2-hour learning model, a system that promises to teach children twice as fast as traditional schools. Here's how it works. Students spend exactly 2 hours each morning working one-on-one with AI-powered apps covering math, English, science, and social studies. No human teachers delivering lectures, no sitting in rows listening to the same lesson, just personalized adaptive learning that meets each child exactly where they are. The results? According to Alpha School's data, their students are learning 2.6 times faster on average than traditional school students. The top 2/3 are learning 3.6 times faster, and the top 20% are crushing it at 6.5 times faster than their peers in conventional classrooms. But wait, what happens for the rest of the school day? This is where it gets fascinating. After those 2 academic hours, students spend their afternoons in life skills workshops. We're talking about 10-year-olds managing Airbnb properties, kids building miniature cyber trucks, high schoolers taking business calls in WeWork-style offices. The question everyone's asking is, does this actually work, or is it just expensive tech theater? Alpha School started as MacKenzie Price's homeschooling experiment for her own daughters. Today, it's a rapidly expanding network of private schools with tuitions ranging from $10,000 in Brownsville, Texas, to a jaw-dropping $75,000 in San Francisco. But here's what's really happening. Alpha isn't just growing, it's multiplying across America. New campuses are opening in Houston, Fort Worth, Phoenix, New York City, Santa Barbara, and Miami. They're not just private schools anymore. They're expanding into charter schools, publicly funded but privately operated institutions. And the timing couldn't be more perfect. The Biden administration issued new guidance encouraging AI use in classrooms. Trump's Education Secretary Linda McMahon has prioritized AI in teacher training programs. Even the Department of Education is saying artificial intelligence has the potential to revolutionize education and support improved outcomes for learners. Meanwhile, a recent Gallup poll found that 60% of teachers already use AI tools, saving themselves an average of 6 hours of work per week. The momentum is building, and MacKenzie Price is riding the wave. But there's something about this story that most people don't know, and it changes everything. Here's where our story takes a dramatic turn. Remember, this is supposed to be MacKenzie Price's grassroots education revolution, right? A mom who got frustrated with her daughter's boring school and decided to fix education? Not exactly. Behind Alpha School is a web of connections that leads to one of the most powerful and controversial figures in the tech world, Joe Liemandt. CEO of Trilogy Enterprises and ESW Capital, MacKenzie's husband, Andrew Price, isn't just a co-founder of Alpha School, he's the chief financial officer at Trilogy, Crossover, and ESW Capital, all companies owned by Liemandt. The AI apps that power 2-hour learning, they're owned by Trilogy Software. The parent company behind Alpha School, it was registered as a subsidiary of Trilogy until 2022. But here's the kicker. In 2023, Joe Liemandt was caught secretly funneling $1 million to Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin's campaign through a shell company called Future of Education, LLC, the exact same name as MacKenzie Price's podcast, launched that year. This isn't just a mom fixing education. This is a billionaire tech mogul using AI to potentially reshape American education, with MacKenzie Price as the friendly public face. And the education establishment is fighting back hard. The American Federation of Teachers, representing 1.8 million educators, has drawn a line in the sand. No matter how advanced, AI cannot replace the critical role of human educators, says AFT Secretary-Treasurer Frederick Ingram. Real, consequential learning only happens when teachers and students collaborate in an atmosphere of mutual trust. Teacher unions aren't just worried about job security. They're terrified of creating what they call a two-tiered system. As Education International's David Edwards warns, AI could make human teachers the reserve of the privileged. The kids of those who can't afford it will sit in rooms with a chatbot. Think about it. Rich families pay $75,000 for Alpha School's guides who provide emotional support alongside AI tutors. Everyone else gets pushed into charter schools where AI does most of the teaching. Is this the future we want? California has already passed legislation to prevent AI from replacing teachers in community colleges. The National Education Association has issued policy statements demanding that human educators remain at the center of education. The battle lines are drawn. But there's one more twist that makes this story even more complex. Alpha School claims incredible results, students performing in the top 1% to 2% nationally. But critics are asking hard questions. Education researcher Matthew Gusdile from the University of Alberta says there's basically no support for claims that AI teaches better than humans. The concern isn't just about academic performance, it's about what we lose when we remove human connection from learning. As one education expert noted, if you go to the gym to lift weights, it wouldn't be helpful if you brought a bulldozer to lift the weights for you. And that's sort of what ChatGPT is. Students at Alpha Brownsville told reporters they love their guides because they don't tell me the answers, they just give me resources. But is this personalized learning, or are we creating a generation dependent on AI to think for them? The COVID pandemic already showed us what happens when technology tries to replace human teachers. Parents quickly realized that teachers are very much needed when COVID happened, and we went virtual. So what's really happening here? Here's the truth. MacKenzie Price started with a legitimate problem. Her daughter was bored at school. Traditional education does have serious issues. Personalized learning is a worthy goal, and AI absolutely has potential to help teachers and students. But what's happening with Alpha School isn't just about better education, it's about a fundamental question. What role should human connection play in learning? And who gets to decide the future of American education? Parents and teachers, or tech billionaires with political agendas? The AI education revolution is here, whether we're ready or not. The question isn't whether AI will transform classrooms. It's whether that transformation will enhance human potential or replace human connection entirely. As this movement spreads from Austin to San Francisco to New York, Every parent needs to ask, what kind of education do we want for our children? One where AI serves teachers and students, or one where teachers become optional extras for those who can afford them? The next few years will determine whether AI education becomes a tool for equity and excellence, or creates the biggest divide in American education since segregation. What do you think? Are these AI schools the future of education, or a dangerous experiment with our children's minds? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to stay ahead of AI developments that actually matter, subscribe to AI Handbook. We're watching these transformations so you don't have to guess what's coming next.